Good evening, everyone. How are you today? There is a bit of cold going on everywhere. A lot of people that are telling me that they are sick. When you speak to people, they're like cough, cough, cough. But I'm good. I didn't get any cold at the moment. At least not yet. So I'm good. So tonight we are gonna do something relevant because we need to migrate somehow from materials to material instances, and it's something that we never did. It's not the news that is something that we never did, but let's say there's been someone that's in particular working on materials, and they sorted out that using material instances can give a benefit to the performances, and also it helps to normalize and streamline, the way materials are shown in game. So basically, the idea is that you have one master material where you define some inputs, some shaders, some the way you want it to be displayed, and then you have some material instances which are kind of child of that, or derived from that one, and they are deriving most of the characteristics, and they are say a bit lighter to be parsed if you have like 10 instances instead of having 10 new materials, right? So that's the idea. Now, unfortunately, this is messing up a bit of our code, but I think it's okay. Hello, Maui. I think it's okay because I think it's an evolution, right? It's an evolution we want to do. So the first thing I need to do, I have some blueprints I think that I touched, so let's see. But first thing I need to do, I need to update my SVN and get, let's say, all the stuff that's way is checked in. I think it changed a lot of stuff, so the checkout may take some time, but I think basically it changed all the materials of the characters, and I think he also changed all the materials of the items, which is interesting. Let me see if there is a conflict. Okay. Do I have anything running? Do I have Unreal running anywhere? Let me check. I should not have Unreal running, but you never know. Seems that I don't. But it seems that the SVN update is giving some lock issue. That could be because I touched the clearance. Let me see. It's giving some, it's giving some errors here. Like if I touch the wings, I can just revert this. I mean, I don't need this, so I can just revert to. Yeah, let me just revert it. I think it was just a test that I did on the clearance mail, but previous operation had not finished. Okay, so I think we need to run a cleanup. Let me just try. I think we have an issue at the level above. I think we need to use the second command the break right lock, this one. Otherwise it's not enough to fix the situation. So let's see. Okay. Access is denied. I think he has an issue with one of the assets. He has an issue with this one, like if he's locked somehow. In fact, it seems that it's locked. I don't know locked by who, because at the moment, do we have anything running? Ah, there is this editor window that for some reason is still open. I think that's the problem. I think that's the problem. Let me try to update again. Yeah, I think that was the issue anyway. There was still an editor window that it didn't fully close. So let's see if running the cleanup works. But anyway, what we want to do, so meanwhile, while this is running, what we can do, okay, it's going to be annoying for some reason. Cleanup failed, process following path, blah blah blah. Failure to run the WCDB work queue associated with Unreal, blah blah, work item install. Actually, I don't think I have anything running on that particular, you know. I don't think I have anything. I mean, I have MySQL running, but apart from MySQL, I don't think I have anything else that can. Oh, there is an Unreal Engine here. What is this Unreal Engine? There was a ghost of an Unreal Engine somewhere. Maybe that's the reason. Oh, let's try again. What I was saying is that, okay, now it worked. So let's try to update again. While it's doing the update, one thing I wanted to check is just the official documentation about material instances, because I think we should learn a bit before actually doing the job, right? It seems that I read this already. I don't remember it, but probably I came here already in one of the previous streams. So, hello Homer a la cook. Check your Discord. Well, if you type here, I think it's a bit better, but because otherwise I have to check so many different places, you know. Okay, so instance materials. So in Unreal Engine 4, material instances is used to change the appearance of material without incurring expensive recompilation of the material. Where a typical material cannot be edited or changed without recompiling, an instance material can be made to change without such recompilation. Certain types of instant material can even change during gameplay in response to game events, such as 3 was material blackens and cherry bursts. Okay. This allows tremendous visual flexibility in your artistic elements. Okay. So basically what it's saying is that a material cannot be edited or changed without recompiling. Which, anyway, I don't think it's something that we need. I mean, do we need to change the materials? I don't know. Maybe not. But anyway. Even to the purpose of material instance is to add an inexpensive way to edit look at the material, it is important to keep in mind that you are not able to edit every single feature of the material by default. Before a material instance is truly editable, you must first select which property of the original master material you want to be editable. Okay, and designate this parameter. This is called parameterizing your material. Nice. A parameter is seen as a data node within the material editor. Okay. Then you want the material with the color can be changed. Okay, so you basically add parameters that is material, and the material is then able to accept, you know, specific parameters. Maybe if Zway is here, will be also interesting to have its own point of view. But anyway, yeah. So when you see the material, you get the parameters here in a kind of a small window, and so you can change these parameters and edit your material. Constant and dynamic instances. There are two types of material instance development engine for. Material instance constant, only calculated. Material instant constant, only calculated prior to runtime. Okay. Material instance dynamic can be calculated at the runtime, which I guess this is more costly. So I think we want material instance constant. Okay. Now, meanwhile, this has been updated correctly, which is nice, and so I think we can launch. We can launch our editor and start to look at. Okay, I can launch the editor. So material instance constant, material instance dynamic. Material instance constant. A material instance constant is an instance material calculated only once prior to runtime. Okay, I think this is very good for us. This is what we want. This means it cannot change during gameplay. However, to the material constant to your game, you still have a performance advantage if not requiring compilation. For instance, if you have a game with a variety of cars, all with individual paint jobs, power score will not be changed during gameplay. The best practice approach would be to create a master material represent the base aspect of the generic car paint, and then create material instance constant represent the variations. Okay. Okay, I think it's okay. I just don't understand the difference, between the material instance. If I have like 10 material instant constant and I have 10 materials, if I have any performance gain. My feeling is that the answer is no, but it seems that Way was saying yes, so where is probably where I'm a bit confused. But reading this, it looks to me that let's say the benefit is not the performance itself, but the benefit is the normalization of all the materials, right? So the fact that all the materials are normalized, and so you can apply, the same kind of effect, Now the question is, I don't know. The question is, do we really want to have one effect on all the materials? That's the point, And this is where I'm a bit confused. Hello, Swang. Omer, I think that about spawning multiple server, okay, I think I can read that later on because it's not really too much in the discussion I'm doing now about material instances, but I can read that later on, maybe. Okay. So, material instance dynamic. There is an instant material can be calculated during gameplay. This means that as you play, you can use the script to change the parameter of your material, altering the material, and stuff like that. So, okay. To apply an instant material to primitive, the object class is material interface. Yes, it is exactly what we have today. So today we have a kind of a material interface, The material class is a subclass of material interface. You define expression, etc. Okay. Instancing a material. Well, this is something that we did already. We don't need to read this, I guess. Material instance. Okay, so this is how you create a material instance, how you edit it, how you set the parameters, how you create the parameters. You have different type of parameters like scalar, vector, texture. Okay, fine. Static parameters. Okay. Yeah, Zway, my only question is to me, if I read this, I don't know, we could do some performance testing, but if I read this, it is basically saying that your material instance is anyway calculated before runtime, and allows you to change the parameters, allows you to change the parameters. It's not very clear to me if this is a performance gain in any way, I have no idea. The thing that scares me a bit is that you kind of applied the same master, right, to, wait a second, there is something it doesn't like. Okay, that you have applied like the same material instance to everything. So let's assume that we want to have a reflective material and a non-reflective material. How do I do it? All right, so let's say that a certain weapon has more reflection, another one has no reflection. So let me just check what you did. Okay, so if I go under materials, you have created like master weapons. Okay, so like master weapons, right? Master weapon is like, okay, having diffuse, normal, and rough material. Okay. And then you are, sending these materials, sending this information a lot to so you are like doing this, and then my master material is used as a base for example, my weapon material, so axis, right? So the axis material is now having this guy, which I guess you changed. Okay, so this one is no more standard material, but is an instance material, right? And this means that you can set these parameters, for example, diffuse, normal, and roughness, right? So okay, so I can still change these parameters, but the difference is that I don't have a blueprint editor where I can, for example, do calculations, or I cannot do calculations or other stuff, right? While on the master I can do calculations. So for example, I think in your character blueprint, in your master, remember there was something more, right? Like master, no, it was not here. I don't know. There was one where there was master character skin, yeah, like this one. Okay, so we do this kind of work, this kind of multiplications and this kind of work here. So this can be done in the master material, but it cannot be done in the material instance, right? So it's kind of inherited. So it gets this as a subface color no matter what, right? But it has a parameter anyway here, so you can change this parameter. So what I'm a bit confused is the following. Okay, so let me just explain you why I'm a bit confused. I'm a bit confused on the fact that, let's assume that I have 3 materials which are defined like the old way. Okay, so these are U materials, and they obviously have inside of each one, their own graph repeated 3 times. So you have, for example, if it's this one, you will have this graph repeated 3 times, which is a bit annoying because it means that every time you create a new material, you have to repeat this graph. And if you decide to change this graph, you're kind of screwed because you have to change it on like 100 places or 1,000 places or 1 million places. So that's, I think, the major benefit that you get with material is because you will have this small graph, replicated. Now I don't know if I can do it quickly, but let me just copy paste this thing. You will have, oops, you will have like this small graph, right? Duplicated many times. So there will be one for this material, right? One for this other material, one for this other material. So every material will have its own thingy. And if by any chance you need to change, you want to change this graph, you will have to change it 3 times. So this benefit is very clear to me. Okay, this benefit is very clear in my mind. I don't know exactly what we want to script, because I have no idea what we want to script. I have no idea what we want to script here. But I understand if you want to script anything, it will be available to all the materials at the same time, and so it's pretty good, right? And so it's pretty good. So for example, for hair, which I think you created a hair, I will have to pass in a color. Right, so master character head, the majority of our characters have gray hair that then is getting colored based on the color you choose. So this will be one of the parameters that I want to put inside my character head, because if you look at our database, and you look at a race which actually has some hair, you will see that here in the shader column we have an RGB value, right? And it is the RGB value that is associated to dark hair, light hair, light gray, dark red, etc. Right? So these are the parameters that we were using in the old plane shift to pass in and color the hair, right? So in this case it would be pretty cool, because what I can do, I can have one master material, right, with the parameter going in, similar to what we see here, right, with a parameter like this that goes in and then is just applied, right? Yeah, okay, I think that's fine. And so if we say, oh shit, our calculation was not right, we want to give it a bit more light, but we want to give it a bit more light to all the air in the game, because it will be applied to everything at the same way, then we can just do it on the master material. Okay, so I think that's beautiful. That's perfect. I love it. The only problem is, if we then need to differentiate, what do we do? Well, we can say that if we have a very special hair for some reason, or very special material, in that case we will say, okay, for this particular item or this particular character, we are not gonna use the master material, right? We're not gonna use the master material, but we're gonna create a new one. So we will have like a master material, and then we're gonna have, you know, our small material instances. Okay, fine, but then we can still have maybe and these are obviously derived, you know, so what we said, they are derived from this guy, and this is derived from this guy, this is derived from this guy, but we can still say, okay, for this character is so special that we create something separate just for this character, which will be still a U material, right? And because he's a special guy, and so he will not have an instance, he will just have his own material. Okay, so we can solve it this way. So my only issue is that in the current code, I'm searching for a specific object, being a material or something else. So in case we may have this special case, you know, the special case of the special guy, I think that my code should be able to read both, you know, to understand if one material is of one type or of the other type. The only issue I have is that in our in our database, here in the textures, I'm specifying already if it's a material or if it's a material instance, you know. Don't know if you can see it, maybe it's a bit small, I cannot make it bigger, but anyway, in this line we have material something, and in this other line we have material instance constant something else. So, or I remove the first part, and then I dynamically check if is one or the other, and if one fails I search the other one, which is a possibility. Or I don't know. I think that's the only way, right? Because if I'm trying to load, you know, something that is a material, or I can do it by code. I can change. Now the problem is that so let's say that let's say we have this special case, right? So if we have this special case, what do I do? I need to say, okay, my character is special and has this material. So I will have anyway in the database somewhere to create the reference to this new material, which will be associated to an item. And in the database we'll say, by the way, this one is pointing no more to ID number 10, but is pointing to ID number 13 or something, which will point here in my data table to an instance. So I think anyway, through the pointer, we will always know if it's a material or if it's a material instance. I mean, we have to choose up front. So I don't think I need to check it at runtime, basically. I think it just, the database will point to one or to the other. Yeah. So I think we'll be correct anyway. So I think it's fine. The only issue at the moment is that all these references, unfortunately I don't have too many, I only have 55, are pointing to something that doesn't exist anymore. So for example, if I go into my character, like if I take this one, let's take raise head material, this one, right? It doesn't exist anymore because now it's renamed to something else. So if I go under characters, cran, material, I'm expecting to find something that is named cran head material, cran head material, which is this one. So the name is correct. The problem is that the reference, if I copy the reference, it will have, and I can show you whatever in a notepad or something, the name will have, as you can see, I zoom it in, no, format, font, 16, boom, it will have this at the beginning. So now the reference to this stuff is no more a material, but is a material instance constant. So while in my data table I have this, right? I have material something. Now I have material instance constant something else. So that's the only difference, but the name is correct. So what we could do, but we can assume that this is working for all the characters. So all the characters basically have the same setup, and all of them are material instances. So okay. So if that's the case, what I need to do, first of all, I need to change this table. And I think I need to substitute this all with material instance content, because I think that's why it changed also. Let me check the Falcon, but I think it's exactly the same. So if I go under weapons, sword, and I take my Falcon thingy, yes, like this one. Yeah, there is a material instance. So his reference will be, yeah, material instant constant something, right? So this one also has to be changed. So I basically have to change all these ones to be material instance constant, which is pretty easy because we have I made a CSV exactly for this reason, which I can open with OpenOffice. And 1 second. And so I was looking at something else. I think I can just import it like this, right? Oop. I mean, at the moment we have 55, but because it's just example data. Well, it's not I mean, it's the right data, but it's not the full set. But we will have very soon the full set, so we will have to import like hundreds of lines. So what I need to do, I mean, it's pretty simple. I have to change on every line everything that is material. Let's say material quote, whatever it is, that character. I have to change it with material instant constant quote, right? Yeah, I think it's good because this material in the middle will not have the quote, so will not okay, so I change them all. And now all of these are pointing to a material instance, right? So I think I can save it, and this will trigger a change into my editor. The editor should, in theory, know that is changed. No, it doesn't. Okay, because in theory sometimes he feels the change, but seems it doesn't. Maybe because it's already checked out, I don't know. I will re-import. Boom. But it's saying that it failed to re-import. Why failed to re-import? You should have saved it properly. Let me just check if the CSV for some reason has some problems. Say no. Seems to be correct. So why is not able to re-import? It's just saying fail to re-import, but doesn't tell me exactly what it means by that. I don't have any error here. I don't know if he's having an issue because I mean I can remove it and recreate it, but I think that would be better for me if I can just re-import the table, right? Why re-import texture is failing? I can delete all the items, but I don't think it's needed. Let me see if I can do it without having this open. If I do asset action reload, no, it still fails. Why it fails? Anyone has an idea why it fails? Why it fails the import? Export is just exporting the data. Export as CSV. Okay, but this is open source data. Yeah, by the way, you see that it sees material instant constant. So it sees that the data is this one. Why has an issue in importing it? Why has an issue in importing it? Fail to import. Okay. What if I do this? What if I just I could check it in. No, I could revert it. I don't care anyway about this, so I will revert it. Select the file that should be reverted below. What do you mean? File name? What do you mean by file name? Select the files that should be reverted below. I don't know, this one. Game data detection revert. Okay, so now it should be clean. Let me try to re-import now from file. It still says failed. I don't know why it says failed. It's very strange. Let me try to remove the first column for some reason. Maybe the header. Maybe he has a problem with the header. Dix texture CSV. Why? Why it doesn't allow me to? Let me close the editor 1 second and try to see if I can write. Because also this texture CSV. But why it says that I cannot write this file? Because it's read-only somehow? It's not read-only. Why I cannot write this file? Don't get it. There is some issue. The file cannot be saved and may be protected. Okay. Why I cannot edit this file? Yeah, it doesn't like it. It doesn't allow me to change this file because it's locked by this. Okay, so let me just close this. I wanted to remove the. Okay, now I can. So yeah, it was OpenOffice. Well, it was OpenOffice blocking the file. Maybe if you have it open in OpenOffice, it doesn't allow me to change it. Could be. Because it's very strange. It's just a simple CSV file, comma separated. So I'm not expecting, you know, a lot of resistance from him to. I don't know. I'm not expecting a lot of resistance on this one. I just tried to remove the header line, which I don't know if is a good idea, but just to test it a second. I just decided to remove the header line and see what happens. So if I re-import asset, cannot find property for column material again. Yeah, expected column texture. Yeah, exactly. So I removed the first line and it obviously doesn't like it. So I think it makes sense. So I need the first line. I need the first line. I need the first line. The problem is that now I cannot. So let me show log. Let me open this one. Yeah, I need this first line. So the first line is needed, otherwise it doesn't import anything. So let me add it back. Maybe it was just the fact it was open in OpenOffice. It could be. Yeah, now it works. Okay, probably if it's open in OpenOffice, he has kind of a lock on the file, and for some reason he cannot import it. So I think that was the issue, because now that I closed OpenOffice, you see that he imported it properly. Anyway, yes, he needs the header at the beginning of the file. So, but anyway, now we have all this material. So everything is material constant now, material instance instead of material, right? So I think we can save this one and use it. Now the problem I have is that in my code, I have some utilities for loading materials. In particular, if I go, for example, to character blueprint, exactly this piece, when we are loading a material on a body part, I have some way to load the material based on the path, right? And what I use this thingy, which is get you material by path. Now this one unfortunately is returning a material object, not a material instance. So this is what I think is messing up at the moment. The loading. This is why it's not working. The loading is not working. But the good news is that I created a get material instance by path, which I just created before starting the stream. And I think this one is the one that we will have to use, and this one will return me a material instance object reference. Now we need to understand if when I do a set material, I can set this. Oh wow, I can. Well, that's very good. Okay, that's very good. So I think that this new function can solve all our problems. Hopefully. So I will get rid of this, and I will connect this to this. Well, I think I have to recreate the whole thingy, because this is not a material. Yeah, I have to recreate the whole thingy, but it should not be too long. Should not be too long, because all these elements are accepting a material instance instead of a material, because they are using material interface as an output, you see. So they have, if I click here, is material interface object. The material interface, I think, is the father of these two things. So I think the idea was to do this. And we can remove this one. Now we need to do the same here, because it cannot cast our new object. So we need to explicitly, I think it's okay. Okay. So now we can remove this part. It's not needed anymore. And we can move this a bit up, just like it was before. And we can move this a bit down. Okay, so it's a bit. What other changes with it? Well, there is another get material by path here, which I have no idea why. What is this? Replace trace for generic. Okay, because it is if he has to replace. If this is if it doesn't have to replace, but for us it's the same. So we need also. So this one I think I can delete, right? We need the same. We need a get material instance by path. So we will connect this here. We will connect this here. We will connect this here and this here. and at this point we can get rid of this. Okay, so now we have substituted, at least in this part of the code. Unfortunately, there are many other places where I'm using this, so I think we have to do like a global search, but it is the main part that is managing the texture on the body, right? So, which is probably what we can test immediately and see if this works. Yes, I think I don't know. We can test and see what happens. I'm not sure it will work, but we can test it anyway. It's like the button on Google, I'm feeling lucky, you know. Is this still there? I remember there was one time. It's still there? I'm feeling lucky. Yeah, I'm feeling lucky, you know. So like, it's like this button where you type something and then you just click on I'm feeling lucky and it gives you like the first site that is on that. So I can type plane shift and I can say I'm feeling lucky and it goes to the first website, right, that it finds in the list. So the test we are doing now is a bit the same. So I think I'm feeling lucky and we see if just changing a piece is doing something. It's about the same concept. Okay. So now when we click on, apart from the login, which I hope it works, yeah, we need a progress bar, guys. If anyone wants to do a progress bar, it would be very nice. Because now it's loading, and here I don't see anything, you know. I don't see a progress bar, I don't see anything. I'm just waiting the gods to solve my problem. Okay, so I create a new character, select Kran. Now, Kran is not the best one, but anyway, when I switch here, I think we crashed the server. Nice. Wow, it took so long time, but it did it! Boys, why it took so much to switch? Because you had to recalculate something? I mean, now it's quick, but the first time I clicked, man, my PC was like dying. But it actually works, boys. So we successfully used the material instance. Yay! Can we say yay? Very nice. Okay, so it seems to work okay, so I don't see any problem. Let me see if there is another one. Hey, there is another one, granite. Very nice. There's another one, which is quartz. Quartz, how do you pronounce this? No idea. Okay, so this thing is working. I mean, it takes a bit to show up. It's like if it takes a bit to, no, it doesn't. I don't know. It seems sometimes it seems that it's like calculating something, but it's okay. So it seems to be working okay. Okay, now the issue is on the items, because on the items we have the same problem. Like if I go back and I log in with, okay, that is a problem, and I log in with any character, right? What the hell is going on, boys? What happened to this? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't have my inventory anymore. Uh-oh. Okay, something happened. Something bad happened. There must be, so I see a lot of warnings, like access unknown, trying to read property code function slot, and something bad is happening here. I think we broke something. Cannot find file. Failed to load. Failed to find object. Material instance. Yeah, I think there are other. I don't know why the inventory is like this, but for sure there are a number of errors going on. A number of errors going on, like in the armor part. So can't find file. Game characters don't be materials. Let me see. Game characters. Game characters. Stone BM material, and then it's searching for Stone BM material. Oh, I went away. Stone BM material, and then it's searching for Stone BM hand chainmail. Stone BM hands. Okay, hands and not hands. Here we are back to our freaking naming convention. So material should be race body part. Body part is hands. Okay, so it's correct here. Is not correct in the database, maybe. Okay, that's fine. It's not correct in the database. So it means it's not correct. It means it's not correct in this file. And yes, okay, that's easy to fix. What I'm looking at this file. Okay, looking at this file, which is the one that we imported, and actually this file is not following our naming convention, so I have to change it. So everything that is underscore hand, right? Everything that is underscore hand should become hands underscore. We should match case, not wrap around. Yeah, wrap around, yes, but not match the whole word. Okay, so like something like that. It should not do damages. I think there are no other places. You see, in some cases we have hands. In some other cases we don't. I don't know why. By the way, because this is the chainmail. Is the chainmail any different? Chainmail. Let me see. Variations, chainmail. No, it's the same. So if it's hands, it's hands. Okay, so okay, good. No, because otherwise it would become impossible if the chainmail is having a different rule, you know. It become really impossible. So I can replace all, I think. And it's here. Then there is the same problem with foot and feet, but that's easy. I think it's only for the chainmail that was messed up, by the way. Then there is legs, and legs is okay. Torso, I think, is okay. Arm, I think it's only this line, by the way. Is arms, head should be okay. Yeah, and everything should be fine. Okay, so at least those errors, if I re-import this, at least those errors should go away. I'm still very surprised why my inventory is all messed up. Because I don't think I'm loading I don't think I'm using that part of the code that I just changed to, I don't know, I'm a bit surprised that inventory is like this. I don't understand why. Why it's like this? Why my inventory is so messed up? Okay, let's fix one problem at a time, okay? Which is the easiest. One problem at a time. So we save that file. So we saved, oh my god, this thing is popping up all the time. We saved that file, so now we should re-import our data table, right? So let's go and re-import our data table. Okay, now it works. So now I see my arms, my ends. Okay, so now it's correct. So I save it again. So let's restart it and see. But there seems to be some significant problem here. So I don't know if something of the changes that Zway did messed up something, but it could be, huh? Because it's pretty weird that the inventory is messed up. The inventory is messed up. Oops. Okay. Hello, Passifani. Welcome. Okay, so let's see if at least that error is gone. Because maybe that error, I don't know, was having like a cascade effect, you know, on something on the loading part. So maybe it was not loading the inventory window for some reason. I have no idea. Let's see. Well, at least I see the guy with the chainmail. I see the guy with the chainmail. Now, probably will my inventory be still messed up? Yes, it is. My inventory is still messed up. Okay. My inventory is still messed up. Why is this? Why? I think we just have to check all the errors here because I think. Here it is. No, it's my fault. It's my fault. It's my fault. The change that I did to the material path is messing up something else. Wait. Get material by path. Oh yes. Oh yes. This one. Okay. I know what is going on. Don't worry. I will fix it very quickly. So basically, I decided to change one function because I thought it was not used, but actually it was used, and I decided to change it, and it was a bad idea. But luckily we have SVN for everything, so it's pretty easy. You can just go back and check it. Oh, by the way, this one was already returning a material instance. This one was returning a material instance already. Okay. So it's basically the same, it's just that I changed the name. Okay. Okay, good. So my suggestion would be to keep the new name because it's better, because it's saying get material instance, while before was confusing. So I think I prefer to change the... In how many places this will be? I think 1 million? No, not 1 million. 999. I think we just need to do this. Get material instance by path, and we just do this. We just have to be sure that we are not messing up with this, but this is taking a material instance, right? Yeah, it works perfectly. Okay, so for some reason on the icons we are already using material instances, right? Probably because the icons were set up that way from the beginning, but so we need to connect all of these nice pins like this and delete this one, and my inventory will be good again. You don't believe it? I tell you, my inventory will be in perfect shape. My inventory will be in perfect shape. I'm pretty sure. I just need to delete this thingies. And let's do a global search just to see if there is any other instance of that. There is one here, by the way. There is one here. Doesn't fit anymore. No, it does. Okay. So let's do a search again, because I want to be sure that is the client running? Yeah, the client is running. Let's just quit the client, because anyway we are doing changes to the blueprint, so we need to... So let's search, let's save this, let's compile and save this. Okay, it works. Yes, you need to check out whatever you need to check out. Let's do a search again, okay? And see if it, yeah, it's still in few places. It is... What is it? Is here. There is one here. So here, what are we doing? Yeah, we're still searching the icons. Okay, it's the same thing. So get material, we use the same. Get material instance. We get our path. We go here. We go here. We remove this, and boom. Easy coding of my life. Okay, so this one is like this, and the other one, there should be another one. Oh, there it is. There's this guy as well. Then we need to change. And this part of the code looks a bit messy, huh? Where are we here, by the way? We are inside skill progression. Oh shit. There is a replace from nothing to nothing. No, from space to nothing. Oh my god, this part of the code looks like very messy. But I don't think I want to change it now. So let's just... Wow, what the hell is this? Okay. Now, it's like if something has been moved, you know, something was like here and something has been moved. to this target into this context. I don't want to make a mess, but it seems to me that this one should connect to these two thingies. I hope I'm not making a mess. And then this one is not needed anymore, right? The problem is, I mean, it's not much better, but at least you have a bit less lines going through. I don't know, this part is super messy, and also there is no comment, so we don't know what it does. We have to read it to understand what it does, and at the moment we are doing something else. But also this target, if we could do something like that, would be a bit easier, maybe. 1 and 2. I hope I'm not breaking anything, but I'm just trying to make it slightly more readable. Get data table. What is this thing doing? This is just searching an icon, by the way. So all this mess is just to search an icon. Set up ability widget. So set progression skill, set widget. There is a custom event. This custom event, I don't even know who is calling it, because it's called custom event 0. Maybe it's not even used anymore. Who is calling this? Is anyone calling this? Yes, it seems someone is calling this. But why is it called custom event 0? Set player skill value. Set brush. Custom event. What is this thing doing? So is looping on the ability data. Okay. For each loop is creating a new skill widget. It's creating a new skill widget. So this is during the setup probably of the skill window, right? So that's the place. Set player skill value. So it's creating a new widget, which by the way, this W skill ability, which kind of widget is that? W skill game widgets W skill ability is this thingy. Okay, so it's basically an icon, so it's nothing else than an icon. Okay, so it's trying to create this, creating a new icon, and then it's getting image skill icon data table. So it's getting the raw name from here. Okay. Then it's setting some parameters like the icon X and icon Y. Okay, yeah, it's basically, so in this piece, let me try to do something. Okay, I will try to do something. Okay, so this is doing something, and it is doing something else. Okay, it is doing something else. So it should be in another place, not here. It is doing something else. So, and by the way, this one should not be called custom event something. It should be called like, so let me see exactly what it does. Creating skill ability. This thing is a freaking mess. Is getting a raw data. So it's getting the raw data, setting a parameter, setting a brush material, setting the brush. Then here there is a branch of something else. This branch actually is not connected to anything. This branch is down here actually, because this branch is connected. Okay, it's connected to this value, fine, but it's not really connected. By the way, this thing is the same as this thing. Interesting. So actually, I could do this and connect it to those two places, right? So connect it here. I think after this change, nothing will work anymore. Huh? You know it, huh? We're doing our best to make a mess. and so this one is not needed at this point anymore. Okay, but I don't know why all of this, I don't know why it's so complex. So all of this is basically setting an icon. I think we should probably make a function out of this, but all this stuff is pretty much setting a brush. Then with this brush, what do we do? So make brush. So with this brush that we set, we branch one time, two times, that we branch so many times. I'm not the creator of this, okay? It's not my fault. We branch here. Holy moly, what the fuck is this? There is another calculation of some kind. This replacement is done for this, so it should go logically. It should go there, right? Logically, it should go here. So it's creating the widget, getting the data row for the icon, setting the material for the icon, creating a dynamic material instance. Okay, this is basically setting the icon, setting the brush. All of this is just setting the icon. Okay, so all of this is just for that. Then, for whatever reason, it branches here based on the fact if your skill rank is greater than that. And okay. And if it's greater than your skill rank, he's doing all of this stuff. He's creating a tooltip. So here is basically creating a tooltip. Active or not active? Okay. So this is okay. So I think I understand this. So you have two cases here. Apart from the fact that they are, let's say, listed the opposite of what they should. So this one should go up, this one should go down. Okay. So let me just understand what is this. Target description is setting the text of this. Is setting the text of this. Okay. And then it's setting the tooltip. So here we have a branch. Wow, this thing is so complex. Return value. This is my ability widget. Okay, this is just my widget. Okay, fine. So I have two parts of this. If this string is in common, I can put it here in the middle. Text description. Okay, so this one goes on top of that. Text name, this goes on top of that. And this one goes in the middle again because it's shared between the two. Okay, so if I understand it right, based on the fact if you have that skill or not, is doing this. So I think we can kind of comment all of this with something like so this if it's greater or not. This if your skill rank is greater than the skill rank in the ability data, which I don't know if it's greater. So this is inactive. So basically this is your skill rank. Your skill rank is lower than this skill, this icon. Your skill rank is lower. Okay, let's say just the skill rank is lower, whatever. So inactive icon. Okay, so this is creating an inactive icon. And then there is the second part, which is the one here below, which is your skill rank is higher, so active icon. Okay, so at least we understood a bit of this stuff. Now here for some reason is doing another branch, and this branch is on the same condition. So if it's on the same condition, why I don't put it just connected to this? Right? It's exactly the same condition. I branch here, and then I branch again here. I don't get it too much. But anyway, I don't get it too much. Maybe because it didn't want to duplicate. Because the only difference is this piece. But it's the same exact condition. Is this condition changing between here and there? No, I don't think so. This condition is not changed. So why there is this branch, boys? Tell me, please. Save my life. I don't know. It's the same. It's the same condition. I'm looking at something. Do I get it right or not? It's the same condition. This create this branch. This create this branch. Then it's checking again the same condition and it's going here or here. So my first reaction will be just connect this here, right? And connect this here and remove the branch, no? What do you think? Is there a reason why it should not be like this? I think if I do it and it doesn't work, I will never be able to go back. That's the point. But I mean, it's exactly the same branch. I don't get it. I don't know. I think it should be like this. So it is setting the opacity and the color. This is setting also the opacity and the color. So basically this should go up to here. And by the way, this freaking line coming from the top is the same as this one. So I don't know why we don't just do this and just route it properly. So we connect this to this. And we remove this one. We remove this one. Yeah, we don't need it. And we connect this to that. Okay. I think nothing will work after this change, boys. There is another route, and this one goes here. So why to take it from the top? Take it from here. Now it's much easier, boys. No, I'm doing a mess. It's here. Okay, so this one we don't need anymore as well. So we removed all those blue lines at the top, which is very nice. So we only have one line here at the bottom, which at least it looks a bit better. Now we have this branch. Now what is happening here? Here is doing a kind of calculation for rendering. Okay, this one I will leave it as it is. I don't know what is it, but I think we will just leave it like this. Render translation, add child overlay. Just adding some overlay and some vertical alignment. So I think it's fine. Is it better than before? I don't know. I don't really like this piece going here and then going back, but okay. Okay, what is this wall thing doing then? It's just setting an icon on the ability. So it's creating an ability widget. So maybe I will comment all of it saying create widget for skill ability. Okay. And so this one is not a custom event anymore, but it's called, let's call it create skill ability widget. Okay. Okay. I don't remember why we came here the first time. Why we came here? Ah, yes, because it was a get material, right? We are here because there was a get material. Okay. We are here because there was a get. I don't know. We will have to test this because I think I broke. I hope I didn't break anything, but like, why this one doesn't have any target? Ah, why this one doesn't have any target? I think that is a mistake. Was there a line going here before? You know that when you are under SVN, you can compare graphs. Believe it or not, you can. And now we will use it. And now you will be amazed. WD skill progress. Look at this. WD skill progress, source control, diff against depot. Look at this. Look at this. Now it gives me the difference on the graph. It tells me everything that has been changed on the graph. Is impossible to read, but anyway, you have it. And now we can navigate the old and the new. So the new is on the right, I think. Yes, the new is on the right. So I want to check if this one, set color and opacity, in the below had a connection with target. Set color and opacity on the one below. Set color and opacity on the one below. No, it didn't. It was actually disconnected. Okay. But I think it's doing nothing then. Maybe he's setting the color and opacity to the current widget, which is the parent of all of that. Yeah, it could be. Anyway, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna touch it. It was like this. Okay, I think our graph now is a bit better, but I don't know. We will test. We will open up the skill window and see what happens. Okay, why we came here? We came here because there was a get reference, right? There was a get material something, right? Get material by path. Was the name like this? Yeah, get material by path. Are there still some? There is a get u material by path. Do we still have this? Get u material by path. Do we still have this? Get u material by path. Yeah, we have it. Why is it called u material the function? Because in theory we don't use the u in the. Okay, I think it's a bit of a mistake on my side, but it's fine. Get material by path, get this by path, get material by path. Okay, I think we substituted. No, here. There is still one here. Where is it? Get material by path. Why doesn't show? It's saying that it's still one. It's saying that it is still one. No, now we removed it. Okay, it's not there anymore. Okay, because it was not recompiled. So since it was not recompiled, it didn't know that it was changed, right? So that's the reason. That's the reason. Why all our viewers are in YouTube and no one in Twitch? I don't know. We have 0 viewers in Twitch. Why we have 0 viewers in Twitch? Because maybe there are no people subscribing. We have viewers in YouTube, but anyway. Not that I care too much. I mean, if you are here or there, it's the same, but okay, so this one is saved, the other one is saved. So should we test it and see if we get the inventory right now? Let's try. Um, one second. Okay. So I had to check something else. Now, hello, Soup. How are you? So let's launch this thing, okay? So let's launch it and see if it works. I want to see if my inventory is back in place. So I have the icons correct. Okay, let's log in and see. Hello, I see some people join the stream. Welcome. If you have any questions, you can type in the chat. If you want to know what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, if you want to know what is the meaning of life, I mean, anything you need to know, just ask. Okay, so okay, this works, which is fine. And if I log in, yeah, apart from the fact it's not destroying the character when I go out, but it's okay. Okay, it seems that my inventory is working again. Okay, so we fixed it. Now, what I want to know is there is another place where we use the material instances, and that place is when I drop an item to the ground, right? When I drop an item to the ground, and that particular item is as a special. I just clicked somewhere else. And that particular item has a special skin. I should see the different skin. So, for example, if I drop a steel falcon or a gold one, it will make a difference, right? I will see those like different. So let me try. So if I put this here, it looks like this. If I put this one here, okay. So this is what I was expecting. So there is still a place somewhere where we are not using the item instances correct. So probably now we have an error on the client. I think we should. Well, we have an error like failed to find object material none, right? I don't know if that's the error, but no, I need a client log though. There is still some error with the torso chainmail. Why? Can't find file. Well, the problem here is that it didn't substitute. It didn't do the substitution. Now here we have another problem. For some reason it didn't do the substitution of $raise with our. Why didn't do that? Did I mess up something here? Did I mess up something? Because is this done? Now there is something, he's not doing the substitution to some of our elements. So in particular the torso chainmail. So this torso chainmail is coming up because we have kept a chainmail torso somewhere. So our character at the moment, let me just detach for a second so I can see it from the front, otherwise it's a bit of a mess. Okay, so our character now has like chainmail everywhere, right? No, the arms don't seem to be correct. The torso seems to be okay. Okay, let's do this. No, the gloves I think are fine. The gloves are fine because I see them the way they should be. But like the arms, let me remove the arms and see what happens. You see, the arms are not changing. So the arms are exactly the same as they were before my... So it's not... The arms are really not changing. Even if I put the arms here, do I get any errors? The client side? Seems not. I'm not getting any error, but but I'm not getting the right item there. Chainmail armor. Now we have to check if it points the proper way, because let me go in the database and check in my, because maybe it's just a pointer, to the wrong item or something like that. So I should have somewhere a chainmail torso armor. No, chainmail. Come on. Chainmail arms armor. This one. Exactly this line. This one is pointing to texture number 5. Texture number 5 is pointing to this $raise material arms, blah 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 blah. Ah, it's still wrong. Fuck it. My fault. When I did it manually, I messed up. Okay, nice. The only one that I didn't do the substitution automatically, I missed one, which is this arms. Okay. Crap. The only one that I didn't do, it was a mistake. Okay. So, okay, the arms we solved. And I think the only reason is that if I reload the asset and I save it again and I load my character, it will be fully correct. The problem are the items. Why the items are not working? So the items are following a slightly different path in our code, but from the database point of view is the same. So my item, which is the gold falcon, let me go and check. My item, which is, I think is at the beginning, the gold falcon is this line, right? And this line has the number 3, right? Number 3 as a thingy, and number 3 as a texture. So number 3 is Falcon 01. So it's material instance code. So we need to check if this is the right pointer. We need to check if this is the right pointer. Material instance constant. The only issue I think is that I'm creating. Okay, let's do one check at a time. The first check is that this name actually exists. So game weapons words, game weapon sword, as it is. And here we should find something like, what do we say? Falcon01C underscore mat. Falcon01C underscore mat. Okay, this one is okay. Let me just copy the reference 1 second and see if I put it here. Oh, okay, I did it already. It looks like this. And in our data table, we have this, which is exactly identical. Okay, so our data table is pointing to the right file. Now, unfortunately, the items are using a different way to be loaded, and probably I think we still need to change something there to have this working properly. I need to I'm thinking, where is it? So that one should be under a keep item. So if I go under character and I search for event, a keep item, this one, yes. And then I go inside a keep item. So here we are keeping an item, right? So I'm getting the material, no, I'm getting the mesh, getting the static mesh, setting the static mesh, setting the is replicated, okay. Then the problem is that I will set the texture, okay, so I think that here get you material by path. Sorry, but this one, is it compiled? Get you material by path, but this get you material by path will never work. This one will never work because this one is returning a U material, right? So here we need to assume, and there is a big assumption, we need to assume that all our items are using material instances now. So if all our items are using material instances, I can change this and do get material instance, and then this will be fine. You know what I could do? I could just do a kind of a check if the output is null, and if the output is null, I search the material instance, something like that, because it would be probably a bit safer. But this means I have to do 2 searches all the time, you know. So I don't know if I like, but I mean the assumption here is that all our objects now are using material instances. So if I change that, I think now it will work. But then there is also the items on the ground. Let me just search something. Get you material. If I search get you material, what the hell? Because there is the right hand, I did the left hand. Okay, so yeah. Get material instance by path. Zway, I don't know if you're still there, but if you're still there, can we assume that all our items are using material instances now? Because it is making a difference, you know, because we are coloring, we are setting the texture on the item with this piece of code, and obviously I have to use one or the other, or I could just do a check if there is a material instance and make it work anyway, but I don't know. Only searching for instances may cause an issue. Okay, I mean I can search for both. The problem is that we are just doing two searches, and this search is not very quick because this search is just trying to do a load, and I mean it's doing a bunch of stuff behind the line. So I would like, if possible, to keep it, you know, to keep it unique. But I mean, if they are not showing up, we see it immediately, right? Okay, there are no more results of that. So now also the item should load, right? Now also the item should load. Okay. Okay, we're logging in, and what we want to, I mean, about buildings, I don't know, because buildings are static anyway. So for buildings, we don't care, you know. For building, I'm not loading building materials by code. So I'm not loading building materials by code. Ah! Why this one doesn't have the right material? Fuck it. It's not working. I think it's not working. Why is not working? Is not working. Let me see if I put it in my hands. What the hell? If I put it in my hand, yeah, we have to fix this freaking camera thing because it's so annoying. The camera, how the camera is now, is super annoying. We should change it somehow. It's super annoying. Okay, in my end is golden. In fact, we changed the code. We changed the code for the hands, right? For the hands equip. So you see, this one is golden. If I keep the other one, but I cannot do it in this view, unfortunately. If I keep the other one, which is the steel, if I do that, then this one is different, you know, it's not golden anymore. You see it? It's not golden. Okay, so the right hand and the left hand works properly. Just 1 second. So the right hand and left hand are working properly now. Well, we can check the other hand, but I think it will be fine. I think it should be fine. Let's check the other hand. Let's put a golden falcon there, and let's see if it looks okay. Yes, it looks okay. So I think we still have an issue when we load the items on the ground, because the items on the ground are actually loaded by another piece of code unfortunately. And so if I put a falcon here and a falcon here, these two should look different, but they don't, right? But they should look different. They should look different. Okay, so let's check which part of the code is loading this. I think I know where it is. I'm pretty sure I know where it is. So it should not be too hard to fix. Should not be too hard to fix. That one is, I think it's in Spawn Manager. Must be, anyway, if I yeah, I think it's in Spawn Manager Create Item, something like that. Let me see. Spawn Manager. There should be a Create Item. If it's not here, then it's inside Item directly. Could be inside PS Item. PS Item. PS Item. Create Item. Should be, no. Why not? PS item actor. PS item actor. No, what is create? I'm pretty sure there is a create item. I just don't remember where is it. Create item. Create item. All open documents. Is PS schedule item? Okay. Okay, so I was in the right file, but in the wrong class. Okay. So now, we have to search here. I think there is should be entity manager. Entity manager. Okay, should be inside of this. And okay, set the material. Set the material through replicated using rep notify. Set material get texture name. Okay. Okay. On material changed. Nice, I think it's here. Yeah, it's loading the material from the data table. It's finding it. It's loading the material. Here it is. So this line we have to change, and if it's a U material instance, you know, we have to load a U material instance. That's basically the difference. In theory, yeah. So let me comment out this line, because maybe we will use it again. But we need to use the same, kind of the same thing that we did in our BP utils. Okay, so it's basically the same stuff, and we need to have something like this. I'm just lazy and so copy pasting, but it's the same thing. So yeah, and then data texture. So now this will return a material instance instead of a uMaterial, and I think it should still work now. Okay, we have an issue. What do you mean is inaccessible? No, please. Please. What do you mean is inaccessible, boys? Why is telling me that the function, if now I'm passing in a material instance, that thing is not accessible? Please. It should have just worked, you know? It should have just worked. So the fact that it's saying that this function now that is using a uMaterial instance is not accessible, it scares me a lot. Because it means that there are multiple set material functions, and maybe the one that is using the instance is not available. No, I said succeeded, so I think it's just the compiler going crazy, but I mean just the error here. I mean, this is not an error, you see, one succeeded, so he compiled it properly, so I don't know why he's giving me this error. I don't understand. It's fine. I mean, he compiled it, so okay, he compiled it. Let's launch it and see if we see our item in gold. If you see our item in gold, I think we finished this task because we changed it. We changed it on the character body. We changed it on the character items that is keeping in his hand. And by the way, I didn't delete all the maps, so that's why it's so slow to load up. Let me delete the other maps so we load up a bit quicker. At the moment it's loading up all these maps. Boys. By the way, I don't know why my videos, they all freaking lost. The description? I don't know why. I think I will have to... What is this thing? Okay, sorry. Blah 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 blah. So what are we doing? Ah yes, we're doing the test. We are testing if... We're just looking at something else. We are testing if now material instances are working properly. It's flying. I don't know why it's flying. They are different, boys. Okay, it works okay now. So for the items on the ground, now it works properly. So you see one is golden, the other is not, right? So, okay, so I think that the task is finished. So we basically are now using material instances everywhere, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. So if you need to go back to material, it's not a drama, right? So it's not too hard. I mean, we can go back and forth between the two relatively easy. Like in 1 hour, 2 hours, we go back from one of the. There are only three places in the code where we are doing that. And in theory, we could also decide to support both material instances and materials just by doing like loading, checking if it's null, and if it's null, loading the other one. You know? So I think anyway, we could support both. Now for items that are part of the map, I don't think there is any need. Like if the ground is using a material instance, basically I don't care because I'm not loading this. Manually or by code or by anything. This is just static textures, static stuff. So if you want to use a material instance or a material or a constant or dynamic or whatever, you can use whatever. So the only problem is for the stuff that I have to load dynamically, that I have to load on the fly by code. Maybe there is a smarter way, I don't know, but this is the way that we are using. Okay. So I think we finished our task on material instances. You happy about it? I don't know, I'm happy about it. You happy about it? I think it's fine, no? I think it's good. So what should we do now? Well, one thing that is nice is that now our character creation, I think, is working properly in terms of switching the skin on the wall character. I don't know if you have seen it, but I've changed the skin of the Kran fully in the test, and this was something that we were not able to do before, and I can show you how I did it. It's not very easy, but I did it. I did it off stream, so you didn't see it, but actually it's working, and I can show you. So that piece of code is under my character creation, right? I think it's here. And yeah, so what I had to do, basically when the player clicks the pref button, next button in the character creation, right, we detect if this particular trait is a linked trait. And so with linked, what we mean is that in the database, for example, I have the skin tone for the N key, and the skin tone is made of 6 different traits which are all linked together, because when I switch the trait, I want to change the head, the arm, the hand, the torso, the whatever, you know. So I want to change all the pieces at the same time, and I don't want to change only one. I want to change all these pieces at the same time. So what the blueprint is doing is searching for linked traits, and so it's basically looping on all the traits, checking if the race is the same that we want, checking if this trait has a father trait, because we actually start from the bottom and we go up, and then it continuously looping, and you see this kind of loop with break. So if we find it, we break, and then we search again, and we loop and we loop and we loop and we loop, and until we find one that has no more fathers. When we find the one that we have no more fathers, then we exit. And then after we exit, we basically loop for each of them. You see that we loop again. We loop for each of them, and we set, and then for each of them we set the material, right? This comment I think is old. Change the color of the torso. Yeah, this is change the color. Change the color of the body part, whatever it is, right? So depending on the body part, so here we select the body part, and so in this loop is basically looping on each of the linked. So this is loop on each of the linked threads, and in this case is if any, because if there are not, I put in the array anyway at least the first trait, and so we are setting that trait anyway. So even if it's single, it works anyway, you know. Okay. Good. I think that's all for today. I don't know if you want to see something else, or if you have any questions or whatever, but I think it's done. So we properly absorbed the change that Zwei did to the art, and we made it usable, which I think is pretty good, and it now works in the game everywhere. And now I'm just waiting Zwei to change the thing again to something else. No, I'm joking. It's fine. So now it works. We can use instances. We learned also a bit about instances. We know what they do and why we should use them and the benefits. And yeah, that's it. So I think I can stream tomorrow night. I would like to progress. Let's check our mission. Our mission was to complete the character creation. The good news is that this works, and which is the linked traits, which we didn't have the other day, but again I did it off stream so you didn't see it, but I show you now the blueprint. So this one works as well, so it's completed. Now the next one will be this one, which is very interesting, which is to change the mesh, for example the hair. So we have different hair types, and we want to be able in the character creation to select different hair types, right? And hair obviously is just one example, but there may be other, like the beard, like I don't know, in the future some face changes, face variations and such. And I think that I will do also some bones changes. I don't know when, but I think I will do it in here. I think we may think, you know, here to add maybe it's not here, maybe it's a new item actually. Yeah, I think it's a new item. I think it's a completely new item where we can say add bones, you know, add bones scale, which basically means that you can have a fat character, you know, a slim character, a tall character, a short character. So to support fat, slim, tall, short, muscle, muscular, like this, I don't know, etc. Right? So there is something that we can try. I'm not really a fan of, you know, dramatic changes in character creation, because I think that if we end up with a dwarf which is taller than a cran, that would be very bad. So I think that the changes that we may allow are fairly limited. And we even need to think if you want it, you know, because I really don't know if I want this. I really don't know. I think we should try to test it and see what happens and see if it makes sense. But I mean, I'm not 100% sure that this is something. I'm pretty sure that I want to have, you know, character customization, being that they have a different face, different eyes, different tattoos, different whatever, different shape of the nose, different shape of the jaw. I mean, all of that is good, but scaling the main bones to have like a fat guy, well, maybe a fat guy is still relevant. I think it's still relevant to have a fat guy. I think it still makes sense, but like changing the height too much, I think it will make people look a bit weird, you know. I don't know, we have to test it. But if I see an elf that is again as tall as a cran, and if I see a cran that is as short as a dwarf, I really think I will not like it. But I don't know, maybe I will like it. I don't know, we have to test it a bit and think about it and see what is the maximum range. I mean, and also if we do all of this and then the range that we allow is super small, you know, then it's not worth it. You know, maybe if we just allow them to change 2 centimeters, you cannot even see it. You know, you cannot even see the difference. So I think that is a task probably for the setting people to think about this kind of customizations and if they really think is meaningful or not for us. That I don't know. I mean, we will see. But anyway, first I would like to finish this. I would like to be able to change hair type and bird type, and then this would be pretty much our character creation improvement. Okay. I think it's all. I will see you probably tomorrow night. I will do my best to stream tomorrow night, and if not Friday, but I think tomorrow night is possible. See you, boys.